Hello, beautiful people. You're welcome to this episode of how to treat your broiler beds organically. In this episode, I'm going to be showing you a rural method of treating your beds of coccidiosis. If you're running a small flock of like about 100, 250 or thereabout, you shouldn't spend money treating coccidiosis by going to buy drugs. You just get bitter leaf and scent leaf. And if you can see here, if you're watching very closely, you see these are bitter leaves that I'm cutting to treat my beds. It's something that you're seeing live. I learned this thing on this platform, and I also want to show it to other people to clear them of that doubt that you can treat your beds with leaves and herbs close to you. God gave us these herbs, these leaves, as a way of treating ourselves as humans and also the animals that we rear to eat for our own consumption. But sometimes we neglect them. Like as you can see very closely, these are scent leaves that I'm cutting to get the extra, the juice from them. These are scent leaves. You need to do them like in a 3-to-1 ratio. The bitter leaf has to be more than the scent leaf. Okay, here in this case I'm using clean water. My containers are all clean. I have to rinse it to be very sure that it's very clear, because one of the mistakes that a lot of small farmers do is that they just carry anyhow water to give to their beds, of which most times gives them some issues they don't know. The ideal is that you need to give your beds clean water that even you yourself can drink. So I use clean water and make sure that the containers are all clean. Even everything I use in preparing this medication for them, I make sure they are clean and well sanitized, so that the beds will be very healthy and respond to the medication properly, so that no other external chemical reaction is happening to alter the medication I'm giving to them. I'm plugging the leaves, plugging them from the stem so that those scent leaf seed doesn't leak into it. The sets I'm using to treating right now, they're about 150. These are the bitter leaves. I'm plugging them from the stem. See what I said? The ratio has to be about 3-to-1. From what I'm seeing here, it's not really complete, so I need to get more scent leaf to add it up to make it enough to meet up to the 3-to-1 ratio. These are scent leaf. I grow them within my premises so that I can get them with ease. The beautiful thing about this medication is that, as we Nigerians, bitter leaf is a wonderful leaf that we use to prepare soup. Like in this case, I had to even, after extracting the juice for my beds, I use the leaves, to prepare some nice delicacy for myself. I'm not gonna lose out now. Yeah, I buy quite a money for that matter. We got to arrange ourselves well. So I just had to get some more scent leaf to add up to the quantity. As you can see very closely, this is a 3-to-1 ratio to make sure that it is balanced, because scent leaves are very strong antibiotics. Even this same extract also works for those that are diabetic. If you are diabetic, this same extracted juice can also serve as medication for you to drop your sugar level. But when you're taking them, you need to be very careful, because if the scent leaf is too much, it can be very toxic. Scent leaves are very strong. See, I'm washing them very well before I start the extracting the juice. If you have a blender at home, you can just cut these leaves and put them in a blender. But in this case, I'm doing a real rural pattern, because most of our farmers in Nigeria, in fact in Africa as a whole, they live in rural areas, and most times they are not exposed to some facilities. So in this case, I'm doing a total common rural kind of setup that anyone can use and help to treat their birds of coccidiosis without spending money on getting medications. This bitter leaf and scent leaves are stuff that we get even if you don't plant it. Your neighbors might have it, so you can easily get it from anywhere close to you, and there you go. Treating of these birds, I've saved about 1,000 naira in getting drugs that I would have get from a veterinary store throughout this flock. What I do is that I just give them 2 days. Maybe like this one, I prepare today, a day, I give it to them that day, and prepare the same thing the next day. And note that these stuffs, and they don't have any preservative in them, so you need to prepare a quantity that you know that you can give to your flocks within 12 hours, because when they stay longer than that, they might get sour and get spoiled. They will not serve the birds properly. Instead of treating them, it now turn to a poison to their system. So you get an extract that can serve them for about 12 hours. 12 hours is ideal. So watch very closely the way I had to get this extract using local materials and stuff that we have around at home or that are very easily accessible. Like I said initially, your water has to be clean water. You don't just give your birds anyhow water, because when you give them waters that are bad or that has some little contaminations, it also leads to some other illness that you didn't expect. Like see the sieve. I use this common sieve that we use at home to sieve the leaves from the juice. I have to rinse the sieve itself so that it's clean and clear. Very important. Cleanliness next to godliness. So one needs to be very careful. One of the good things about preparing your medications yourself is that you're very sure of the processes that you pass through to achieve the results. So in that case, you're sure that your birds are good, because one of the things that we pass through here in Africa is that most of our vendors, the veterinary shop, to be sincere, sometimes they sell some expired drugs that we don't know. Because like I'll use my country as a case study. We have some high level of corruption that even some of the bodies that are supposed to be monitoring most of the pharmaceutical companies to make sure that what they are selling are good. Sometimes they are not very diligent in their activity. So when you prepare your own medications like this, you're very sure of the process, and certainly you definitely get a good result. So just watch closely. I just had to extract the juice. These are the process. You have to squeeze, cut them with your hand. I had to cut it with a knife to cut them into little chunks. Now I am trying to squeeze them with some little quantity of water inside to lubricate it, to make sure that the juice come out. You can repeat this process as many times as possible. Like in my own case, I repeated this process about 5 times, because I just wanted the concentration to be strong enough to serve the birds very well. And then again, you note the quantity of what you're doing. Let the quantity not be too much. Like the quantity I did here was enough for a 10 liters drinker. So watch very closely. This is the format I use to get the juice extracts for them. See, I use the sieve to separate the juice from the leaves. So you repeat this process as many times as possible, maybe like 2 or 3 times. If you have a blender at home, you can actually cut these leaves and use your blender to cut. Then maybe use a silk material that can serve as a sieve to really sieve out the leaves properly. In this case, I'm using an open common plastic sieve that we use at home to sieve foodstuff. So you see, I did this process. I repeated the process about 5 to 6 times just to be sure that the concentration level is high enough. I had to add extra water because what is there is not enough that will last them for the period of time when I will get back from work. I run my broiler farm with some other business, so most times when I get home, I usually get home late. So I had to add some extra water that will serve them till when I get home. So now I'm about to give it to the birds. Just watch closely. I said these are broiler birds, about 150. These are after brooding birds. Even during brooding process, you can give this to your birds and they will just be fine. And see, they are already enjoying themselves. Thanks for watching. If you're new to this channel, please do like, comment, share and subscribe to the channel. Thank you and God bless you.